Hello. There are moments where we feel angry, very angry, extremely angry, because someone has behaved in a way that either blocked us from doing something or achieving a goal, or attacked us, broken a rule, a personal rule. So I feel angry because we would never do that, or they should never do that. Or they were careless. Anyway, we feel angry and we feel justified in our anger. However, it doesn't feel good. And in order to resolve, in order to manage our mind and energy and emotions, we also have to we also need to give us the benefit of the doubt, or give them the benefit of the doubt, and recognize that sometimes we also can make a mistake in the way that we infer something, and then often we take things as facts rather than it is an inference. And sometimes we are wrong. So when we are feeling very angry and we are struggling to manage that, let's look at different options, not with the intention of minimizing, not with the intention of not taking it seriously, with the intention of looking at it from different perspectives and seeing if we are correct. We never know 100%, but sometimes our automatic assumption is the incorrect one, and we have had experience in our lives where we assumed something and we were incorrect, and we created more problems as a result. And this is easy to see on other people. Whereas we feel, if you have asked, I would have clarified, and there would have been no need for you to get upset. You just assumed, you made an assumption which was incorrect. We don't see that ourselves because we get this tunnel vision when we are upset and angry. So one option is someone did this intentionally with the purpose of hurting me or not caring for me. It should know better. She should know better. This was done with the intention of being mean, purposely hurting me, purposely causing negative consequences for me. So that makes us feel angry. Those thoughts makes us feel very angry. If someone is intentionally causing harm, it can also make us feel concern, worry. Concern for their health and our health, our safety. But there are other possibilities. What are the possibilities there may be? So my automatic assumption is that the person has done this intentionally or carelessly, or the person does not care for me. So what are the possibilities? There may be. Perhaps another possibility is that the person was careless. So yeah, that still makes us feel angry. What about it was an accident? This was an accident. Then we feel a bit more, if something is an accident, we're a bit more flexible and tolerant and accepting than if it was done carelessly and intentionally. And if something was an accident, then we just feel perhaps frustrated or irritated. And we are bringing down the anger, the thermometer from very angry to irritation or annoyance. What about if the person is struggling to manage their stuff, their energy, their mood, their thoughts? They're so stressed out or so anxious or so depressed or so angry that they have so much momentum they don't know. they don't know how, they don't have the know-how, they don't have the physical and mental and emotional capacity. It's just the brain overreacting. Then in that case, I can look at the person and have pity or have compassion, or think it must be really tough to be in their position. It must be really hard. So we'll feel irritated or annoyed or inconvenienced, but that level of anger simmers down. Because you don't want to fight fire with fire, it just creates a bigger fire. An eye for an eye makes fighting, just makes the world go blind. Eye for an eye makes the world go blind. If you go with our anger and fighting, we're going to create more problems. Instead of one problem, we get another problem. And sometimes we could be wrongly on our assumptions. So what are the possibilities out there that this person might be engaging in certain behavior or not engaging? Perhaps the person never learned that skill. Perhaps it comes from a culture or background where they don't engage in that skill. Perhaps their upbringing never gave them the opportunity to engage in that behavior. Perhaps they've never been exposed to a different behavior. Perhaps that's all they know. And then trying to expect them to behave differently will be a little bit unfair. Perhaps they don't have the mental capacity in terms of age or emotions. And then when we look at it from that way, we feel our anger coming down. Let's take a moment to notice how we feel. What else could this person be coming from? Perhaps the person does not know that that behavior impacts us in a negative way. And in that case, we are choosing to communicate. So there could be different reasons why people engage in certain behaviors. So the best way is to ask, is there a reason why you behave in this behavior? Or when you did this, I felt this way. This impacted me in this way. I wish you would do this differently. Or took into account or consideration my wishes and preferences as far as it is reasonable. But then, when you choose to solve, when you choose to approach, when you choose to resolve or working towards a solution, we also need to look at it. In what way would I like to show up? What values would I like to uphold? What person do I want to be in this moment? And going back to the reasons why the other person might be behaving in a certain way that is upsetting us, we can even recognize, is there a possibility that the person is looking or acting from a different value? We all have different values, and sometimes the values contradict. What about priorities? Someone might not do something because they have done something that we do not wish to have, because they're looking at it from a different priority than we are. And in fairness, it's reasonable that we have different priorities, because we have things going on in our lives, different people that are part of our lives. So the other person might come from a different value than we are, might have different priorities than we have, might even have different preferences than we have. And we want to be opening to the diversity, to the variety that is, and also respect others' limits and preferences and wishes. It's best if they communicate, but if they are unable to or do not want to, if they choose not to, we still have to accept. But we are choosing to communicate from a place where we are upholding our values, where we are choosing to engage in words and thoughts and behavior that is in line with the person and the values we want to live. Take a breath in. And a breath out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. So we want to simmer down from our anger into being more accepting. Because at different levels we have different actions, access to different ways of thinking, access to different ways of behaving. If you're angry, then we're more likely to engage in behaviors that are more asserting in a very aggressive manner. If you're feeling irritated and frustrated, we have different access to different solutions. If you're feeling compassionate, we have access to different solutions. And then we can choose to engage, to act in a way that leads us towards solutions rather than creating more problems. Breathe in. Breathe out. What about ourselves? Are we making mistakes in a way that we are interpreting the situation? Am I overgeneralizing? Am I catastrophizing? Am I only seeing the negative? Can I see the neutral and the positive behaviors that this person has and engages in, so that my appraisal is more balanced? Am I totally discounting the positives? Is this an opportunity to learn, to let go, to do something differently? Take a breath in. And slowly out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Often people are doing the best they can in each given moment. And so are I. And so are we. So before jumping to conclusions, let's do some checking for possibilities, instead of automatically assuming the worst. Instead of assuming it was done intentionally, let's check if it was an accident or the person does not know what they're doing, if it's a different value and preference or priority. so that we can move into acceptance of the moment and take steps towards the solution, towards resolving, towards solving, in line with the person that we want to be and the values we want to live our life by. And in fairness to them, fairness to us. Because when we expect the worst and imagine the worst, we also struggle more and suffer more unnecessarily. And then we are heavier on ourselves and them. Breath in. Breath out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. I sincerely hope that you have managed to calm down a little bit, or looking at this from a different perspective. And remember, will this matter in 6 months or a year time, or longer term? Can I just let this go? Do I need to do something about it? And what's the bigger, wider perspective? In the big scheme of things, is this worth losing my time, energy, and health, sleep, motivation, mood, so that we can make the best choice? Big hug. Love, 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 love. Stay calm. Think through. Choose the options and choices that are in line with the values you want to live. You can do this.